Many thanks for joining us again on the newsroom. I am Annetta Felix. The early morning downpour in Lagos has resulted in flooding across major parts of Lagos, and residents of Akobi Crescent in Surulere are in the face of it. As is the particular situation with the area when there's a downpour, waste such as food packs and plastic bottles from a nearby canal takes over the streets, preventing any form of human or vehicular movement. Residents also suffer damages to their properties as the water makes its way into their houses. They're now appealing to the government to intervene.
We've been experiencing this for a long period of time. And before my arrival here, we were even made to believe that Fashola is regular here, always coming here to pack the canal. And then there was no problem of this kind. But since the coming back of the coming of the new government, we have never been experiencing any sanitation here. So it's been very difficult. Anytime there is rain, we have all this lot of mess. And the last time, it was because of these people's let me say, that they posted this to the social media. That was why we saw them came here, and they also they see the way we are experiencing the difficulties here, and they have been doing it. But we can never have a lasting solution to this, because what they have been doing is the waterway that leads to this our area. They have been doing that through the canal. But the waterway that leads the water away from this society is what is causing the problem. So from that junction to Root, if it is not done, no, there is no solution to this problem. The only lasting solution is that from this junction through to that Root area. But if that is not done, we continue to experiencing this kind of problem in this area again.
The Inspector General of Police Monitoring Units in Lagos State has detained Instagram celebrity and Executive Director of Cubana Group, Pascal Okechukwu, popularly known as Cubana Chief Priest. A police source said Cubana Chief Priest is facing interrogation for misusing police personnel, illegally using a weapon, and his, quote, extravagant and unexplained lifestyle, end of quote. Okechukwu arrived at the force headquarters annex in Lagos around 10 a.m. and was detained afterwards. Cubana Chief Priest is known to post pictures of himself in private jets and exotic cars to his 1.6 million followers on Instagram. The United Nations General Assembly has elected Nigeria, along with 17 other countries, into the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. On Wednesday in New York, the UNGA elected the new Economic and Social Council members to serve for a term of 3 years with effect from January 1st, 2021. This will be Nigeria's third time of serving in the important council since 2012. Other elected African countries are Madagascar, Liberia, Libya, and Zimbabwe. Moving on now. President Muhammadu Buhari is presently in a meeting with the service chiefs. The meeting's going on at the council chambers of the presidential villa in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. The service chiefs are led by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Olonishakin. They arrived at the seat of power at about 8:50 a.m. and proceeded to the council chambers. President Buhari joined the service chiefs about 10 minutes later, and the meeting immediately went into a closed-door session. Suspended National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshomole, says he's accepted the judgment of the Court of Appeal, which affirmed his suspension in good faith. The embattled APC leader said this to newsmen, adding that he was consulting with his legal team on his next line of action. Recall that the APC National Working Committee had named Abiola Ajimobi, former Ondo State Governor, as the acting national chairman of the APC after the Court of Appeal in Abuja upheld the suspension of Oshomole by a Federal Capital Territory High Court. In a unanimous judgment of a three-man panel led by Justice Eunice Onyemanam, the appellate court dismissed Oshomole's appeal for lacking in merit. Still in Edo State, the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress has announced a 7-member election committee to conduct the June 22nd Edo State APC governorship primary. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma is to serve as chairman, while Senator Ajibola Bashiru has been named as secretary. The National Vice Chairman, South-South, Hilad Etta, announced this at the party's secretariat in Abuja on Wednesday. Take a listen.
The ongoing Edo State primaries of the party, the NWC has constituted an election panel, a 7-man election panel for the Edo primary elections that is scheduled to hold on the 22nd of June 2020. And the panel has these names, and I read. Number 1, Senator Hope Uzodimma as chairman. His Excellency, Senator Hope Uzodimma as chairman. Senator Ajibola Bashiru as secretary. Alhaji Abdullahi Abbas as member. Honorable Ibrahim Sabo as member. Honorable Ocho Obioma as member. Hajia Amina Lantana Mohammed, member. Last but not the least, Honorable Benga Elegbeleye as member. For the Primary Election Appeal Committee, we have Professor Mustafa Bello as chairman, Dr. Kayode Ajulo as secretary, Honorable Umar Ahmed as member, Nasiru Ibrahim Junju as member, Honorable Razak Mahmoud Bamu as member.
You're still watching the news live on TV360's newsroom. We'll be back to bring you updates on COVID-19 around the world after this. The total number of COVID-19 infections in Nigeria is nearing the 18,000 mark. This comes as the Nigerian Center for Disease Control announced 587 new COVID-19 infections. In a tweet on Wednesday, the NCDC confirms that the COVID-19 toll in Nigeria is now at 17,735 cases, with 469 deaths and 5,967 recovered patients. Nigeria is currently in the second phase of easing its lockdown restrictions, with worship centers expected to restart in certain states. And in Oyo, 56 new cases of the novel coronavirus has been recorded. The state governor, Seyi Makinde, announced this on Thursday via a series of tweets explaining that the 56 new cases now takes the total COVID-19 tally in Oyo to 661. In more tweets, Makinde announced that the new cases were reported in 13 local government areas of Oyo, with Saki West LGA recording 14, the highest figure. Governor Makinde, who doubles as the chairman of the state COVID-19 task force, revealed in another tweet that Oyo State has recorded one more death from COVID-19, taking the COVID-19 death toll in the state to 9. President Muhammadu Buhari has lauded the efforts of the World Health Organization for its support to vulnerable countries in the fight against COVID-19. The president gave this remark while participating at the extraordinary China-Africa Summit on solidarity against COVID-19. The meeting was chaired by Chinese President Xi Jinping and was held via video conference on Wednesday.
The COVID-19 outbreak is a clear wake-up call for all of humanity. The health systems of many nations have been severely tested by the outbreak of this disease that most resorted to unprecedented executive measures of closing borders and locking down cities to restrict movements and commerce. The immediate socio-economic disruptions have been hard to cope with for many, and others suffered devastating effects. As we face a common pervasive and invisible enemy, it is important that we all remain united to save our shared humanity, because this virus knows no borders. The fight against a global pandemic that continues to take so many lives, threaten livelihoods, and challenging the very fabric of societies requires enhanced cooperation and worldwide solidarity. I therefore commend the United Nations Secretary General, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, for launching a COVID-19 response and recovery fund for low and middle-income countries to tackle the health emergency, address social and economic consequences of the crisis, and strengthen the recovery efforts of most vulnerable countries. I also commend the World Health Organization and its leadership, for whose advice Nigeria was able to take measures and enlighten its people on steps to take to avoid contracting and spreading the virus.
The World Health Organization has announced plans to coordinate a meta-analysis pulling data from several clinical trials to increase its understanding of dexamethasone. The Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros Ghebreyesus, made this known at a recent media briefing on COVID-19 in Geneva. The DG said the WHO will give a directive on how the new drug will be used to treat COVID-19.
Dexamethasone, a common steroid, has been shown to have a beneficial effect on those patients severely ill with COVID-19. According to early findings shared with WHO, for patients on oxygen alone, the treatment was shown to reduce mortality by about 1/5. And for patients requiring a ventilator, mortality was reduced by about 1/3. However, dexamethasone was shown to not have a beneficial effect for those with milder disease who did not need respiratory support. This is very welcome news for those patients with severe illness. These drugs should only be used under close clinical supervision. We need more therapeutics that can be used to tackle the virus, including those with milder symptoms. WHO has now started to coordinate a meta-analysis pooling data from several clinical trials to increase our overall understanding of this intervention. And we will update our clinical guidance to reflect how and when dexamethasone should be used to treat COVID-19. I want to thank the United Kingdom government, the University of Oxford, and the many hospitals, researchers, patients, and families who have contributed to this scientific breakthrough. WHO will continue to work with all partners to develop other therapeutics and vaccines for COVID-19, including through the Access to COVID-19 Tools Accelerator.
You're live on the newsroom on TV360 Nigeria, and political updates from Southern Africa is up next. Burundi's newly elected president, Evariste Ndayishimiye, has been sworn in on Thursday after the sudden death of his predecessor, Pierre Nkurunziza. Ndayishimiye was elected in May in a vote disputed by the opposition and was meant to take office in August, but the inauguration was sped up after his predecessor, Pierre Nkurunziza's shocking death. Chelsea has completed the signing of RB Leipzig forward Timo Werner. The German international agreed a 5-year deal at Stamford Bridge and becomes Chelsea's second signing of the summer after Ajax's Hakim Ziyech. Chelsea agreed to pay 30 million euros to trigger the release clause of Werner, who's set to earn more than 10 million euros per season in England. Werner's made a total of 157 appearances for RB Leipzig, scoring 93 goals and making 40 assists, developing into one of Europe's most coveted forwards. And that's it on the newsroom on TV360 Nigeria. Do join us in the next hour for more updates. Bye for now.